Hey, good morning, everybody. I got to bed probably about 2 o'clock or so last night, and I did sleep straight through, I think, like a rock. I got up probably around, well, I guess maybe like 6 o'clock. So, I woke up, and, it's one of those mornings where you wake up, you're not really sure what day it is, you're not really sure exactly what happened. You're not really sure if what you're starting to process is real. You're not sure of anything. So, to start this, I realize that, the way people look at me and the way people are looking at me, and I have to be very responsible and I have to be very measured with what I say because, people are looking to me for guidance. People are looking to me for help. People are looking to me for support, which I'm going to be there for you guys, and I'm going to be responsible, with what I have to say. We're going to try to be measured with everything that I have to say because this is a time where we need to have unity. This is a time where we need to come together. I've been saying these words, guys. This is a time where we need unity, okay? We need to realize, sorry, alarms are going off here. I got the real fruity ringtone. But we have to stay together. What happened last night, don't make any mistake about this, guys. Last night was an attack. However you want to label it, however you want to call it, whatever you want to do, in cities across America last night, there was an attack. That was an orchestrated, organized attack. Now ask yourselves this question. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to label this a terrorist attack. However, think to yourself, if this was a white supremacist group, any type of group that the media would label, where a couple of guys or a group of guys got together anywhere in this country in one place, if that group of individuals got together, what would the media call it? What would the local politicians call it? Ask yourself that. I know what they would call it. I know what they have called it. They would label it a domestic terrorist attack by white supremacists. That is what every single person would call it. Make no mistake, our towns last night, our police officers, our neighbors, our friends' businesses, our neighbors' businesses, our neighbors' neighborhoods were attacked last night. They were held hostage, not by the police. And this is what the rhetoric is doing already. The rhetoric, and I'm going to try to sit still so this isn't as choppy, but this is what people on the left are already labeling this. We have been in lockdown by tyrannical orders for over 3 months in this state and other states. They didn't recognize that as a police state, but now they're calling what is happening a police state. Make no mistake about it, these police officers are not going into these neighborhoods to occupy their neighborhoods. They are responding, guys. They are responding to calls of businesses being broken into. That is what is happening. So I have relatives and I have friends that are labeling this as the police occupying these neighborhoods. It's not right. That's not the way it's going down. Now people ask me, Pete, why are you going out there and why are you doing what you're doing? I'm doing it for a few reasons. I First reason is I'm trying to communicate all the information to everybody so that if police aren't there, somebody can reach out to the police and let them know what location I'm at. So police can respond, law enforcement can respond. That's the first reason I'm there. Second reason is that if I do see somebody that is being hurt, that I can hopefully help them. If it's a large group and I'm being put and I know I'm not going to be of any help to that person and I'm going to be a danger, guys, I'm being smart about it, and I'm not getting out of the vehicle. So know that and trust that. The other reason that I'm helping is that if I see a small group of people where I feel like it's not as escalated as, I am hoping that I can maybe get out of my vehicle and at least have a conversation with these guys. If they're not open and receptive, and I'm smart about how I approach that, guys. Side. I'm not going to be combative. I'm going to make it seem like I'm on their side. So I'm going to get ingratiated and welcomed into their group, which I am on their side. And then I'm going to try to, bring it down. I'm going to try to tone it down. I'm going to try to de-escalate. That's what I'm trying to do. The other thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that no one can say this stuff did not happen. We cannot get pulling cars. We cannot get Cuomo'd. We cannot get that these incidents aren't happening. They are happening. I am documenting that. These are all the reasons that I'm going out into these neighborhoods. And guys, I'm being safe. I'm rolling heavy. So I have what I need to be able to protect myself. I know how to protect myself. All right? So I appreciate all the care and I appreciate all the concern. That just means that you love me and that means you care about my safety, and that means the world, guys. But if you know me, you know that I have to be out there and I have to help. I'm not there to fight. That is not my interest at all. At all. If I am called to fight and law enforcement is overrun and they need help because they're being attacked at multiple locations, then yes, will I step up and fight if necessary and only as an absolute last resort to protect somebody? Yes, I will do that. So I'm sorry, guys, but that would be the only set of conditions where I would do that. But take some peace from that and what I'm doing. Now, our officers were attacked last night. I don't know if you've seen the video. On 2 separate occasions, officers were attacked. I don't know if the one video where the Ford Explorer or the Ford Expedition, is tough to tell which type of vehicle rolled through the crowd. At that point, it was when I was not there. So it either happened prior to when I got there. If somebody knows the time that happened, please let me know and please share that on my page, all right? What happened to those officers last night is inexcusable. That is an act of war. All officers. These guys were there to help neighbors. They responded to help businesses. They are not occupying your town. They are not a police state. They're there to help. And what I saw, they did a great job of standing down. They did a great job of de-escalating. Just like Niagara Falls the night before, they did an amazing job with their training. And these guys aren't prepared. So know this, guys. These police officers, yeah, they receive a little bit of training on this stuff, but they don't receive a ton of training. These are moms. These are dads. These are brothers. These are sisters. These are cousins. These are friends. These are best friends. These are business owners. That they have side businesses. Remember that. They are not your enemy. They are not your combatant. These guys have done nothing. Again, like I said, I am the biggest advocate. If you know me, you know what I have said about police corruption and police abuse of power. So for me to stand here and have been professing this and saying this for this entire time, you need to believe this. Yes, we need to fight those institutional and pervasive problems. But understand this, that permeates into a very small percentage of those precincts and with our law enforcement. Most law enforcement hate the fact that they have bad officers in their ranks. and they feel like they don't have anything to do to be able to purge their department out, because so many times they see what Ed Apple ends up getting promoted. He gets promoted to sergeant, he gets promoted to he or she, because we all have examples. That's why I fight against it. But these people are not occupying our towns. They are not in a police state. They are responding to what happened. So last night, 2 officers got run over. I pray to God they are okay. They were injured. They were hurt. I'm sure you guys saw the video. Earlier in the evening, individuals were attacking these officers with vehicles. So guys, you need to be prepared tonight. You need to be prepared today. I do not want to be an alarmist. I said yesterday I thought it was over. I prayed that it was going to be over. I thought it was. Then I got additional information from people that I know who are very dangerous people. Give you their names: Davon McEwen, Ari Abrams Sr., and Kenny Parker, as a part of One New York, which is a subdivision of One Society. And, I don't know what level of involvement One New York has, but I know for a fact that Kenny Parker supports this, and he is a part of One New York. Okay? So if you know any names of anybody, share those names, provide those names, give those names to law enforcement, because the people that are involved with escalating this are a part of our town now. I thought it was all out of towners to start, and a lot of them were out of towners. A lot of them were on the first couple of nights. However, the individuals that I got the information from yesterday saying that this was not done and that they were going to bring the hurt and bring the pain. I belong to a football group, and I belonged to that group for a long time, and 2 individuals confronted me about a post that I put on. Those individuals were Kenny Parker and Ari Abrams Sr. And Kenny Parker did not say that he was going to go out there and attack the community. He did not say that. However, Kenny Parker supports One New York, and One New York is supported by the individual who supports these attacks and condones these attacks. That's George Soros. Open New York, Open Society is funded by George Soros. And Kenny Parker told me that yesterday. So Ari Abrams Sr., he, right on the page, said he was going to attack, and that people and the communities better watch out. They removed me from that page because they knew I was going to screenshot that and share that information with authorities. So if you guys have any information at all, that's what I'm trying to tell everybody here. We need to stay vigilant. We need to stay strong. We don't need to go out there and help law enforcement. We do not need to go out there and fight at this point, guys, as much as we want to. As many people that are messaging me and say, I want to just hurt so many people, I want to punch so many people. We need to rise above that, guys. We need to be better. There are processes and policies in place to be able to combat that, and law enforcement is doing everything that they can at this point. What we need to understand and know is that this is not the black community. I have several black friends that came onto my page yesterday and said, Pete, this is disgusting. I have hundreds of friends that are black in this neighborhood. I ran into them. Kuda, Bam Fam. I ran into Dennis Browning yesterday, hitman from my football team. These guys, Keys, Marquis, these guys, they do not, support this. They want police to stop killing people. They want police to get training so that they have de-escalation training, so that they don't escalate, so that they can manage situations better. They want police to have the resources that they need and the help that they need. That's what 95% or more, I don't know what the percentage is, but that's what the overwhelming percentage of the black community in this town and every other town, and even some of the protesters, not all of the protesters. Last night was not a protest. Last night was a mob riot. And again, ask yourself, if it was a white group that was out there, what would it be labeled by media? they would absolutely call that a white supremacist group and that it was an act of domestic terror. So remember that. Ask yourself those questions, guys. But you got to remember, it's not an us against them. You can't ever, like, I know a lot of us, on my page, you're not as blessed as I have been. For the past 30 years, I've been in situations where I've had every ethnicity around me. So it's family, it's brothers. There's no color. We've shared so many experiences. We fought with one another. We fought for each other. We've been behind one another. It's not about black and white. It's not about what ethnicity you are. People are people. This is a group of thugs. There were white and black people there last night. Overwhelmingly black, obviously. But these were people like a Davon McEwen, who was supposed to be a community leader, they incited into going out and advocating and doing this. They posted on their pages yesterday, essentially to go out and do this. There are several posts where people shared with me yesterday from these different people, we're going to get, the white hoods. We're going to get these people. That is the thought process of a very small group of people. Are those people the enemy? Are those people the attackers? Do those people need to be stopped? Absolutely, they do. But that's what law enforcement is there for, guys. So, what very, very strongly, because there's talk about them going out into the suburbs, monitor your Facebook pages, monitor your social media. If you see anything at all, make sure you share it with law enforcement immediately. We are finding that the absolute best way to stop these things, and law enforcement knows that, not we finding it, they just know this. They've been trained. This is what they're trained for, is to not let them organize. So if they are aware of a location, that is the absolute single best thing that we can do. Now you ask yourself, why can law enforcement not be everywhere and protect all locations? They can't be. There's way too many locations and way too many places. And that's the danger. As I was driving around yesterday, that is the real danger, guys. Now, if they do one centralized attack on us like they have been doing, that is going to be, they're going to be able to combat that. If they stage multiple attacks, if they're able to gather in multiple locations, even a handful of people, it could get very ugly, because there are a lot of vulnerable businesses. There are a lot of vulnerable neighborhoods. There are a lot of vulnerable homes. And again, I don't want to be an alarmist here, guys, but this is the fact. This is a reality. This is how a terrorist thinks. This is how a psychopath thinks. This is how a sociopath who is so enraged and they're so blinded by hate, this is how they think. So driving around down Delavan, I'm looking at all the businesses yesterday after I was there in the city. And I'm looking at all these businesses and I'm saying to myself, wow, how vulnerable and at risk are every single one of these businesses. What is keeping and preventing, the people that are organized to just going through and attacking? And police would be helpless to do anything. So the best thing that we can do is prevention. It's always prevention, guys. Prevention, prevention, prevention in every aspect and corner of your life. So be vigilant today. Take the time to go through your Facebook page, even a little bit. If you feel like you want to help in any way, you want to help the community, and you're sick about what happened yesterday, please share any information that you have on your page, any knowledge that you're aware of. If you have any information about who attacked last night and who was responsible, I don't even know if they got caught. Watching the video, that Explorer sped off. Now, I don't know if there was a line of officers behind that original line. When I was there yesterday, there was. So I'm hoping he wasn't able to get through that line, but I don't know what happened. So if you do know if that individual was apprehended, please let me know. All right? And if you do have any information about who it was, please share that with authorities. But prevention, getting back to prevention, guys, if you have anybody that is strong, that you trust, that will do a good job, all you need to do, all I have been doing, is just rolling in my car peacefully, minding my own business. I'm not in my own head. I'm not looking to fight anybody. All I'm trying to do are be eyes on the street for law enforcement. So that if I see a gathering, because there is no way they can be aware of everything, guys. So first thing is, if you hear anything, share it on your Facebook page and share it with law enforcement immediately. Secondarily, if you have the ability, or if you know anybody that has the ability to go through your neighborhoods, just drive through your neighborhoods. Like I said, peacefully monitor what's happening. Take a look and see if anybody is gathering. Sean Coppola did that and probably helped and saved a lot of Niagara Falls. He shared information with me last night or the other night saying they were gathering on street corners, and that de-escalated. That never got to the point that it did last night, guys. And last night was, it was a war zone. And East Side is a war zone to begin with, but last night it was bad. And I'm going to share the information in a little bit, but I needed to get through this responsibly at the beginning. So if you can roll through your neighborhoods and help, the other thing is, we talked about this before. If you have elderly in your neighborhoods, try to just mitigate and make sure they're okay. They've been at home for 3 months, guys. They have been locked down for 3 months, terrified. If you have anybody that you know is mentally ill today, they have been locked down for 3 months. Go to them. Just even if it's the first time, go across the street, go next door. Pick up the phone for your neighbor, pick up the phone for your friend, and just ask them if they're okay. Make sure they don't need anything. This is because right now, as terrified as they were and alone as they were before, they are even more terrified right now. Just share this video with everybody if you can. Share this information. Put it in a post in your social media with regard to what I'm saying about, if you can monitor neighborhoods, monitor your Facebook pages, share that information. The other information that's critical to share at this point is about our neighbors, guys. We are supposed to be here, the community of good neighbors, for everybody, our friends and our loved ones. So even if it's just a couple of people, take the time to make sure that they're all right. They've been inside their house for 3 months, not able to go out and do anything. Please just make sure they're okay. That's the other part of this. We need to make sure that they're okay. Now, it's too difficult to go ahead, but if you can, if they're comfortable, get a phone number from them. If they're able to text, if they don't know how to text, show them how to text. Show them how to reach out. Law enforcement is not going to be able to get there. That is a fact. People are contacting law enforcement at this time, and they are not able to respond. They are inundated. They are overwhelmed. It's not that they don't want to respond to your call. They literally and physically cannot. They are already at a scene. They have the additional officers that are on call and on standby to be able to report to major situations, but they are stretched. Our towns and our law enforcement are stretched to the max and to their limits at this point. So help in any way that you can. Do not engage these people. Do not engage them if they come into your neighborhood. If you see them, if it is a last resort and police are not able to come and you see them going into somebody's house, if you are capable, then exercise all the caution in the world, guys. Try not to go in there if you need to take videos to document, but be safe, whatever you have to do. So are there going to be more attacks today? I don't know. I can't say definitively with any amount of certainty if there are in fact going to be attacks tonight. What I can say is this. I can say that there are Facebook posts, social media posts out there that are saying there will be. The targets are residential neighborhoods and the targets are suburban areas. The towns that I do know that were listed were Tonawanda and Clarence. I'm trying to obtain the information I was getting a lot of information last night from everybody. and I was getting information and I was just kind of inundated. So I tried to share, I tried to filter it and share as best I could, but I don't remember. So I've reached out. I know that I do have some people trying to get that information to law enforcement. But like I said, guys, share this video. You know, hopefully it's not too choppy. Hopefully you can hear me and it's not breaking up. I do need to get a new phone so that I can do these a little bit better and so everybody could see me and it's not so painful to watch. But the information was very important for me to get out today, guys. And I want to finish this whole thing by saying, you know, what happened last night and what I saw. When I was there. So regardless, whatever anybody is going to say today, whether it's, law enforcement, one of the reasons why I'm going to these areas is to be able to witness it so that I can see and I can testify with my own eyes, not secondhand, because just like yesterday, Poland Cars comes out and says it's all rumors. Everything that happened was rumors. It wasn't rumors. It happened. Byron Brown came out. It was all over police channels. Everybody saw it happen. So Poland Cars did a disservice and put everybody in harm's way by saying what he said. I'm out there so that, because then you have the people that, oh, it's tinfoil, you're a tinfoil hat, it never happened, none of this stuff is happening. On my stepbrother Mark Burness's page, people were attacking me saying, it's not, this isn't happening. It literally just happened the night before down in Niagara Square. They protested, they broke windows. I don't know how programmed and conditioned and indoctrinated these people are. This is the same group of people that they're now saying that it's a police state. For 3 months we've been in a police state and on lockdown, but now they're going to say we're in a police state because police are responding to save neighborhoods. The other thing that I wanted to say is this. Somebody, please, within, this community that feels they're justified to attack us, somebody please tell me what this is benefiting. Somebody please tell me what good this is doing. Somebody please tell me what these innocent neighbors have done. Somebody tell me what law enforcement has done to you, your brother, your family, your sister. Now, I know the one woman was screaming that her brother was killed, and I know the officer that did that, and it happened. He was like family. We've kind of got a little distant. I don't know the circumstances. I can't say, what happened. I wasn't there, so I can't speak on it, and of course he's not going to share it. He can't do that. So I respect that part of it. But, this woman did lose her brother and he didn't need to die. And it happened. And that was, I think, about a year ago or whenever it happened. So this isn't the only time where we can't say that nobody has been killed by Buffalo police, because people have been killed by Buffalo police. People have, and law enforcement in general, people have been put in jail unjustly. They have police corruption and abuse of power where they have beaten them. We know this. I've experienced it. This has happened. So this is why de-escalation and all kinds of these areas that law enforcement behaves in a great way that had all across this country that I was advocating for years ago. You guys saw my posts. Law enforcement could have done this. They could have retrained themselves. They could have received the proper training. They could have received the proper support, because these guys, these men and women, they need to have the psychological support when they're done. It is exhausting. I don't know if you've ever been in the military or been in law enforcement, guys, but when you're patrolling, yes, sometimes in some neighborhoods, if you're out in the suburbs, it's not as bad. It's not as stressful. However, if you're in a number of areas in the city of Buffalo, or a number of areas in Tonawanda, or a number of areas in Cheektowaga, you are on high alert and stress, essentially like you are in combat all the time. Imagine what that would be like. Just ask yourself what that would be like. It's exhausting. It wears on you. In law enforcement, there is a culture of just being strong and not, seeking the help. And that's starting to change. That people are starting to recognize that officers need constant support, constant affirmation, constant validation. They need that from their peers. They need that from, their leaders. They need it from outside and external support. They need it from their families. It's exhausting doing these jobs, guys. So, but where I was on my point, I kind of got off on a tangent earlier, was that, so anyways, I'll remember. But make no mistake, guys, de Blasio, pulling cars, every single politician in this state that invited these people, I'm going to just come out and say it. They are domestic terrorists. Byron Brown, with what he did yesterday at his press conference, not condemning the actions of what happened, and in fact going against the police department, the Buffalo Police Department, and saying that's right on a press conference, saying that he knows that there are issues and problems and they are addressing them. And I get that he has to try to say what he has to say, but you're adding fuel to the fire. Stand by and support your law enforcement, behind the scenes. It's just like being in a marriage. If you disagree with your partner or a relationship, if you disagree with your partner, your brother or sister or family, you disagree with your partner, you're a unified front when you're together out in front of anybody else. Behind the scenes, you say, what are you doing? And let's fix this. That's the way it should be handled, not Cuomo. And here again, where were Byron Brown and pulling cars last night? What leadership were they exhibiting? Where was Cuomo? Where was de Blasio? Where were these guys? That they invited these terrorists to commit these acts of terror in our community, to attack our communities. That's what they did. And de Blasio is backpedaling now, saying, oh, well, it was peaceful protests. No, dude, you saw the Buffalo story. You saw the stories around the country that were showing the violence. And you knew who was involved. Law enforcement was telling you who was involved. And you chose to disregard that. And then not only did you choose to disregard it, but you chose to endorse it. You chose to invite these people in to our towns, our neighborhoods, our communities. You're not choosing to condemn it. You're not choosing to even arrest the people. They're coming out and saying that they will not arrest looters and rioters and protesters. Think about that. They were going to for the last 3 months, and they were arresting people who were violating the order to keep their businesses closed down. Now I have no examples at all of where people were arrested for violating social distancing orders locally here. Nationally, I know. I've seen it. I've seen where people were attacked by police. Hamburg. As a matter of fact, Hamburg, somebody was dragged out of Wegmans. That's secondhand. I don't know if it's reality or not. Or I can't remember which location it was, but the Hamburg police did respond, and they did take somebody out for not wearing a mask. Right? Said what he said about businesses being able to, force people to wear masks. So, but think about this. They were getting all of these social distancing orders and masks. Guys, all that stuff is null and void at that point. I'm going to get into that. What they did do is they arrested peaceful protesters. They disbanded peaceful protesters. Now that's a police state. That's tyranny. In New York City, they arrested people on video, caught on video. We did an interview as a part of the YouTube series with Restore Constitutional Freedom of New York. Shannon Nixon, she did an interview with the woman, I forget her name, that was arrested. New York City police on the order of de Blasio. So the mayor ordered New York City police to go through a park where there were a handful of people, a couple of dozen of people, and they arrested this woman. They disbanded it. They rained down on them. So de Blasio, who said, and every other politician said that it was dangerous, and every other person that said it was dangerous to go to these peaceful protests that we were all doing, that we were going down and being peaceful, saying, you're not wearing masks, you're not social distancing, I hope you die. The same people who said that about us are the same exact people now that are saying they endorse these protests. Think about that, guys. We were peaceful. These people were peaceful. De Blasio and the mayor and the governor, they came out and said that they arrested these people and they condemned us. They shamed us. They acted as though we were criminals. Now the real criminals are out there terrorizing neighborhoods, attacking neighborhoods, breaking into businesses, hurting people, driving over police officers, and they're saying that nobody is going to get arrested if they're looting and rioting. If they have occupied a neighborhood and they are terrorizing a neighborhood, guys, if this doesn't tell you where in government they're what the reasons are behind doing what they're doing, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. How can you vilify and villainize a business owner for opening up their business and needing to work? How can you vilify and villainize churches for wanting to go? And you shame them for 3 months. You shame them. Telling parishioners that they're going to kill people if they go. Cuomo literally telling people that they are going to kill people if they leave their house or if they go to church or if they open up their business. But then they endorse and support these protests. Guys, the lockdowns are over. Do not stay at home. They told us to stay home. Those were rules. They weren't laws. You're not breaking a law by going out and opening your business. They are endorsing criminal activity. They are saying that they know these people aren't wearing masks. They know they're not social distancing. And they are supporting them. They're saying don't arrest them. They've allowed the criminals who actually committed crimes out of prison, saying that they don't want to put them at risk and they didn't have a death sentence to be inside, even though they had no proof at all that anybody was dying inside these prisons. They released them and they kept us under lock and key. They kept every one of us under lock and key, guys. Lockdown is over. Do not pay attention to any rule that they have at this point. If they are going to turn police on you for opening up your business, but they're not going to arrest a looter and a rioter in a domestic terror attack. If they're not going to arrest those people and they're going to arrest you if you go to church or guys, if you were watching a movie, think about this. If you were watching a movie, what would you think? If you were watching a TV show, what would you think if that was the case? It is insane. So, what happened last night was I rolled through, I came up, officers had several streets locked down, which protocol. They did have everything shut down, but people were still able to travel up and down. I did meet a couple of people. They needed help. They needed assistance. They needed the one individual. He was there. He was in his truck to deliver pizzas to police officers going to different precincts, and he got caught up in it. He was in his truck. The armored vehicle was right behind him. They pulled him out. I feel bad for the guy, but he understood it too. He's like, dude, I had 8 guns on me. There was high tension at that point. So it sucked that happened to him, but he understood. So he had 8 guns. They told him, get on the ground. What are you? What are you doing? Why are you here? And that's justified. They responded appropriately and accordingly. Once they were able to establish what he was and what he was doing, they told him to get out. His truck was still there. He couldn't get to it. It was in the middle of the zone. So what I did was I took him home. It was probably about a 30-minute, but it was very escalated at that point. I was hearing shots, semi-automatic discharge, and I believe that it was, the police at that point. Like, that's confirmed with the videos that I've seen and corroborated with the videos that I've seen. So I did leave the scene. I did return, and I returned to the south side. I was on the north side of where everything was happening by the gas station initially. And then I was over on the south side when I came back. So I stayed back about 300 yards be able to be monitoring everything. And it was still heavily escalated. Vehicles were racing in, citizen vehicles, where they were racing in, and it got hairy watching these vehicles because you don't know. I mean, there was traffic lined up and they were redirecting people down side streets to get out, but then people were gathering on side streets and they were gathering on corners. So, law enforcement had a very difficult situation. But these vehicles, they were racing up. You don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to try to go into the police crowd again and do whatever they were going to do, or the crowd in general. Like, what were these people on? You know that they were not straight. You know that they were fueled up on something. So they were ready to do anything. And they weren't going to stop. And now they have an example of what to do, guys. You got to be very, very careful now, wherever you are. Be on alert. Don't be paranoid, but be on alert, guys. Now they've seen this. They're going to be emboldened. I don't know, I pray to God you're not going to see more attacks with vehicles on police officers and pedestrians. I pray to God that's the case. However, once they see, oh shit, and that's, they're going to see it's all over, the news and media and everything else. Now, guess what? They're going to utilize those tactics. So be careful, guys. Be very careful out on the street. So what happened then was there was there was a group of 5 or 6 individuals that came back towards my car. One individual raised a pistol in the air. He's about 20 feet away from me, shot it. It wasn't directed at me. It was, just to, try to scare the police and rile up the police. Just shitty. So I don't know how many people had guns. Fireworks were going off as well. So that was just, raising and elevating tensions. I remained in my vehicle. I remained there, parked on Bailey, south of the scene. I believe it was at Weckert. Most of this took place at Bailey and Suffolk. So what I did was I remained on scene. Somebody tossed over the garbage cans that were next to me, put them in the middle of the street. Somebody came along. I wasn't going to get out of my vehicle at that point. I just wasn't. So they came and put the garbage cans back up. Probably about 20 minutes later, 15 minutes later, whatever it was, another group came down, highly elevated. They were highly elevated. They pushed the garbage cans over. This was probably the group of people that were starting the fires because they were equipped. They had, I don't know if it was gasoline, but they did have starting fluid or, lighter fluid. They had lighter fluid that they were soaking the pile of garbage with. And it was literally like, if you got my door, it was like 4 feet away from my door. And then they started bringing out chairs, and they started bringing out mattresses. So the mattress was starting to get put really close to my RAV, and I was like, okay, I gotta go at that point. So I moved forward slowly, respectfully, and then I exited the neighborhood. There wasn't any more good that I was going to be able to report on or do at that point. So that's what went down, guys. It was the Bailey and Suffolk area. I do know that there were reports of town liquors in Cheektowaga on Harlem that was broken into last night. I believe it was around 11 o'clock. There were people on foot trying to chase the perpetrators down. I don't know if they were apprehended or not, but this is what I was mentioning earlier, guys. These guys are going to see this. They're going to see that our neighborhoods are vulnerable. They're going to see that our police are occupied and preoccupied in other areas. So we need to be aware of what we need to do. And those measures that we need to take are monitoring our social media, creating that communication tree, share information with me. If you can roll up and down your streets, do that. Good morning, Bam. Good morning, Taylor. Roll up and down your streets peacefully, unassumingly. Just go through and make sure nobody is organizing in your neighborhood. If you see them, make sure you get away from it, don't park, don't agitate them, and contact law enforcement right away. Share it on social media right away so that everybody can be as safe as possible. If you see an attack, report it first. We need to protect one another, guys. We need to be there for one another. Like I said earlier, make sure you're contacting your neighbors. Make sure they're all right. They've been home alone a long time, and some people are even more terrified now. They've been hearing shots they're seeing on the media. Please check on them. This is what we can do to help. All right? That's what happened last night. Now, I don't know what else happened, so if anybody else has any additional information as to what happened last night anywhere in any other neighborhoods, please let me know. I haven't gotten any reports. I haven't seen anything on social media about any other incidents, thankfully. So, let's hope that, this was the last one. Let's just hope and pray. However, on social media, there have been several individuals talking about moving it back out to the suburbs. And nationally, you have a lot of leaders, like Nick made a video, very incendiary video that was designed, obviously call attention to what happened. But guys, what I'm going to tell you is this. Look into the George Floyd, the killing. Look at it and watch it. And ask yourself questions. Why did they not put him in the back of the car? Just ask yourselves the questions. Watch the video. All right? I'm not going to say it's conspiracy. But ask yourself, if you talk to anybody, watch the video and then talk to somebody in law enforcement and ask them if anything that occurred in that video is standard operating procedure. Ask them that. Ask them, put down a list of questions and then ask them if anybody would ever conduct themselves, knowing that they were on camera. That's the biggest question. This guy and these officers were on camera. They knew it. What was their motivation? They were on camera for 10 minutes before the guy, succumbed? Ask law enforcement if that has ever happened. If that's standard operating procedure, and if anything in that video is standard operating procedure. So, tonight, they're nationally, they are called, so like I said, Nick Cannon and others, our politicians, de Blasio, Cuomo, polling cars, those guys are supporting what's happening. They're the ones that are endorsing it. They're the ones that are putting our law enforcement at risk because they're telling them to handle this mildly, to handle this with a gentle hand. How can you, two people got shot. So 2 people got shot and officers got hit by a truck. I saw that. Bam. Thank you for sharing that. So think about this. If when you're a kid and your dad's gonna, he's gonna whack you if you're gonna do something, you're not gonna do it. These people here, they think police are gonna stop them from doing what they're doing. Now, everybody, single people need. So the police, they have the guise of, and they guise of that protection, that psychological protection. They may do something to you. So now when politicians come out and say, I'm at City Hall. I did see that video yesterday, Taylor's. Thank you. Guys, share that with everybody. I'm sure Buffalo PD is already aware of it, but City Hall today, they are in the city of Buffalo, they are gathering. I did see that video as well. So what's happening is our politicians, they are now removing that psychological fear. They're saying, so they are putting our law enforcement, our family, our friends in harm's way, saying, handle it in a mild way. Okay, so you're attacking and you want me to handle this in a gentle way? And then you go further by saying there are going to be no consequences or repercussions. They came out and said this, guys. It is on video. It is all caught. What they did is criminal. What these politicians did equates to domestic terrorism. They are emboldening and enabling these people. They are empowering them and giving them the strength because a fear is eliminated. They have no fear of repercussions. They have no fear of consequences at this point. None. You're not going to be arrested or riot. Literally what Cuomo and de Blasio and others have said. I don't know if Poloncarz and Brown said it, but I know for a fact that Cuomo and Poloncarz have said that. So whoever else has said that, guys, share it. Because that is putting us all at risk at this point. Every single one of us are being put at risk. Make no mistake about it, guys. Like I said earlier, these people in these political offices, they are domestic terrorists. They have supported this. They have put us in lockdown for 3 months, and now they are supporting people being out on the street. They told us we were villains for not wearing masks. They told us we were villains for going to church. They told us we were villains for opening up our businesses. And now they're supporting the attackers. They're supporting the mob. So my prayers with every town and law enforcement, guys. Raleigh down there, Andy Walters shared that information with me. All those officers that are hurt. New York City, all my thoughts and prayers with those people out there. My thoughts and prayers with the officers that were struck last night. My thoughts and prayers are with every neighborhood down in the city that was affected that didn't want any part of that at all. Like I said, 400 people that were down there. Guys, that's not representative of the entire Black community. It's not. Said 95% are not interested in being involved at this level. They are not interested in that. They're with us. Don't forget that. Be there for one another. Stand together, united against this in every way we can. I'm trying to think about what I can do today, but I have to get to Sherry and Josh's to finish their bathroom tiling. I'm thinking what I can do in the meantime, what I can do to be responsible. Not to you guys, to Facebook family, to my neighbors, to my friends, to politicians, so that I can try to de-escalate. What can I do? I was out there yesterday. I've been out there protesting. If anybody has an idea of what it is that I may potentially be able to do with my voice to de-escalate and thwart and stop this and mitigate it, other than what we're trying to do in our neighborhoods with the communication tree, going through and making sure people aren't gathering, if they are, communicating that to police, communicating anything that you have about these gatherings or these potential attack sites with law enforcement, do that. But if there's anything anybody has that they think that I can do to share information with anybody that will help, keep our community safe here or keep our country safe. Like I said yesterday, guys, if you know somebody in law enforcement somewhere, share the information. They have it, right? They're trained in that. They're the experts. They're the professionals. But if we can have one idea that helps save one person from being attacked, hurt, injured, killed, it's worth it, guys. Sharing something, nothing is that stupid, especially if it's a friend of yours that's in law enforcement. So some of the things that I spoke about earlier and some of the things that I spoke about the other day, make sure you're sharing that with guys, This is what I've witnessed. This is what I've seen that helps. Like I said, these guys are the experts. They know what helps. They're the ones that are handling these situations, but we can do our part as citizens. Now, I have a lot of other things to talk about. Regulations. I am going to mention this briefly, guys, because it's very important. Just posted it on Facebook. I didn't do the research. Somebody else did. They made me aware of it. Specifically state, now these are regulations that were researched over a period of time and implemented and put into policy and guidebooks for all businesses. It says you cannot wear a face covering at work if you're going to be deprived of oxygen less than 19.5%. If you use any oxygen monitor within your mask, you will find that you drop below 19.5%. So if you are at work, if you're working anywhere that is mandating and forcing you, research this. I put it on my page, guys, so you can use that link. She is going to do a more professional link, so subscribe to the woman that did this post. But if collect together, share the information with the people you work with. It is this is OSHA. This is not me. This is not alarmism. Irreversible damage in OSHA's manuals, in federal OSHA guidelines, in California state OSHA guidelines, and several other state OSHA guidelines, saying that if you wear a mask and your oxygen levels drop below, you are not supposed to wear a mask for a sustained period of time. All the mask manufacturers will say that. Also, if you wear a mask and you're repeatedly wearing the mask, you are putting me at risk. You are putting everybody else at risk because that mask is contaminated now. That mask is contaminated with viruses, and you're traveling around with that, and you're breathing out and you're exhaling out, and that is going into the environment. You cannot social distance. It's collecting in the air. If you walk through the same space, as somebody, it doesn't disappear. If you walk through a fart, the fart doesn't disappear. It's still there, guys. So wearing masks is putting us at risk. Forcing us to wear masks is not only psychologically, the psychological damage that is occurring to people, but now it's physical. And this isn't now. They knew this. This is why WHO, CDC, Fauci, Birx have all been on record. Jerome Adams, Surgeon General Jerome Adams, have all been on camera, and then they reversed their positions. Why did they reverse their positions? Ask yourself that question. All WHO, CDC guidelines, do not wear masks if you are healthy. Do not wear masks if you are healthy. You are putting yourself in harm's way. There's a list of the different diseases and the effects that it can have. And then if you are sick, you can wear a mask. Always been the way, guys. We'll get into that, why they've mandated masks and what they're trying to accomplish with that. But the important thing today is share this information, share this video with your friends. I don't want any recognition. I just want the information out there. I don't care if I have followers or whatever. The other thing is, guys, invite all of your like-minded friends. Every single one of your like-minded friends, invite them to my page. Invite them to my page, Pete Harding. I'll trust you that you're inviting people. Let's get this community built as big as we can. Let's get it so that we could share this information to as many people as possible. So getting back to OSHA regulations, guys, don't believe me. Look it up. I forget the section in the article, but the video is on my page of the woman who did the research, and she's going to put out a more professional video. Irreversible brain damage by wearing a mask. This is OSHA. This is listed right in OSHA. If you wear a mask for an extended period of time at all, extended period of time meaning 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Everybody defers to doctors and nurses wearing masks. They're not supposed to be wearing masks. They're wearing the masks improperly. When they go into surgery, yes, and that's for particulates to come out. It's not from disease and infection coming out from the body that they're working on, the person that they're working on. It's to prevent particulates from coming out and dropping in. That's what it is. So OSHA regulations state very clearly you cannot wear a face covering if your oxygen levels are going to drop below 19.25%. If you do, you can sustain irreversible brain damage. Put this information out there. I pray for everybody. I thank all the police departments. I thank Buffalo PD. I thank the National Guardsmen. These guys are my family. These guys are my friends that are in these departments. And they've been there protecting us and representing us when we've been doing. They have not once done anything to harm us. They have allowed us to peacefully protest. They've been there to monitor so that they can avoid this situation that's happening now from happening. But They have been there for us. So thank God for them. Thank God for Cheektowaga PD, Erie County Sheriffs. I thank God for those. Thank God for all those New York City police officers. Thank God for anybody who is getting involved in reporting to law enforcement or to their friends on Facebook, keeping us safe. Jessica Maines, Jessica, forget your name. Last night, guys, these people, Doug Hahn, and there's more names. I know who they are, but, everybody was sharing information with me last night. That was beautiful, guys. I can't remember all the names. I'll thank everybody later, but that's keeping us safe. That's protecting us because it's not allowing these people to assemble and organize. It's preventing that. It's preventing them from being able to escalate the situation because law enforcement, they can diffuse it and they can get everybody to depart when it's small. Once they gather and it gets bigger, it is way tougher and it's going to get way more violent. So working together with these communication trees on social media is huge, guys. My prayers out to our country, my prayers out to law enforcement, my prayers to all my family, my Facebook family, my prayers to my neighbors, my thoughts and strength to everybody that's out there, that's hurting right now, that's living in fear. I'll come back on live again a little bit later. And, any new information that I have, I will, of course, share on Facebook. But if you guys have anything at all, please share it with me on Facebook. Enjoy your day, guys. I'll take care. Be safe.